latest issue of North American Fisherman here. It's the May-June issue. Happens to have a photo of Andy Walls. He's a local guy here from the Brainerd area. Fishes a lot of tournaments. He's on the cover. And let's see, inside we have an article by Ron Lindner, and actually a number of us here at Angling Edge worked on this. Called Fundamentals of Fish Location. And inside, Ron talks about a variety of things that happen when it comes to looking for fish on a particular lake, and charts are never exciting. Okay, it's not like looking at big fish pictures like this one here. There's around with a nice fish. That's more exciting. But you know what? Charts are sort of educational, and in here, Ron broke the principles of fish location into 3 basic categories and about 9 subcategories here. And I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about some of these things without getting too long and boring here. What I do find is when people try to go look for fish, they tend to think structure. That's the common mistake that people make. All they want to do is find humps and points and drop-offs and changes, things like physical changes. But there's a whole lot more to fish location than that you really need to consider. And so we talk about you know, the vegetation and the cover that's in a lake, which changes throughout the year, and fish shift around as they react to that. Structure and bottom content. And there's areas that have rocks, areas that have sand. What's the water chemistry like? Is it dark water? Is it clear water? Is it fertile? We have outside impact factors that affect fish location. Obviously, we have the changing seasons that go out throughout the length of the year. We got fish shifting around from spawning areas to summer feeding areas to deep fall areas and wintering areas. We've got the effects of humans, which is like tournaments and boat traffic and fishing pressure. You know, a lake that doesn't have a lot of that, the fish are going to tend to be much more aggressive. When you've got a lot of usage by man, tends to kind of focus some of the fishing activity at the key times of the day. When we get into our community living conditions, we've got things like population density. Are the fish all small and stunted? Do we have a good mixed population of fish that's got all sizes? Is the lake known for big fish? Some lakes really grow big fish. Types and availability of prey. Obviously, if you've got like smallmouth bass and they're eating crayfish, they're going to be very rock-oriented. But if they are feeding on things like smelt that are suspended and move in and out of structure, those fish are going to have a whole lot more tendency to feed up and actually rise up and hit baits. So bottom-oriented baits may not be all that effective. And one last thing, interspecies competition, which is something we have in a lot of our northern lakes here. We don't just have a bass lake like you have down south, where a couple species of bass are the primary predators. We've got largemouth, smallmouth, pike, muskies in some cases, walleyes obviously. These are the major predators in our northern natural lakes. And when you've got mixed populations of these, they have to interact with each other. And fish will set up in different zones. Like I was on the Lacs yesterday, and the smallmouths were just going crazy in about 3.5 to 7 feet of water. And we were catching our walleyes out on the mud flats in about 22 to 26. You know, so in one case it was structure, it was shallow rocks. In the other case it was drop-offs meeting the deep basin. The species had gone by their basic nature and adapted to those particular spots. And had we been fishing for pike, we would have been looking for weed beds at this time of year. So there's a lot more when it comes to locating fish than just going out and finding a structure and a point and a drop-off. You have to be thinking about all of these factors that combine to form an environment, and then think about fish will behave at that time of year and where they may be. And again, like I say, it's not a real sexy thing in that you can go out and look at a chart and say, the fish are going to be right here. You have to think about all of the factors, how they combine together, and that's how you determine fish location for the species you're after for the time of the year.